Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Cristian. Cristian is from Florida in the USA. And tomorrow, Cristian will be celebrating his birthday. So Cristian, I wish you all the best. I hope tomorrow you have an amazing time with your friends and your family as well. Enjoy your special day, okay? And enjoy the interview. Hello?
There we go.
Yes.
How are you?
Hello Cristian, how are you doing today?
Good, thanks. Nice to meet you.
You too, nice to meet you too. Thanks for taking the time for the interview today. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Right, so before we start the game, just tell me where you're from.
I live in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in the United States.
Right, and what's the best part of living over there, in your opinion, besides the weather?
I was going to say 280 days of sunshine, but you beat me to it. No, just the South Florida lifestyle. It's you're on the ocean. It's beautiful. I mean, everybody comes to vacation here, so you basically live in paradise.
I see. And what do you do for a living?
I sell real estate, so I'm an estate agent.
Wow. And what's the most interesting thing about your job?
I think the interaction with so many different types of people, you're helping them make one of the most substantial purchases of their life, so they have to trust you. It's a lot of money. I think the personal relationship building is probably what I like. And I've worked from celebrities to regular people to Saudi Arabian sheiks, so I never would have had that opportunity to meet those types of people, I don't think, in any other career.
I see. And you lived all your life in Florida, because I was looking at your profile from New York, from a place called Wilson.
Yeah, so I actually my father was in the US military and was a diplomat. So we lived in Asia and Europe until I was 17. And then I came back and went to college in Western New York, in a very small college. I studied medicine. And then after about 4 years of that, I came on vacation to Florida, and it's much warmer. And I literally went to New York, I packed my stuff, and I moved 2 weeks later. And I've lived in Florida ever since.
Oh, wow. And so you live in Asia, and which part of Europe? Where?
We were in Germany, and then every summer we pretty much went to a different country, but the majority of my time overseas was in Asia. We lived in the Philippine Islands for about 10 years. So.
Oh, wow. And you have siblings as well?
I did. I had a brother who passed, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Cristian. So should I call you Chris or Cristian?
Whatever's easier. Christian's what I go by, but whatever's easier for you.
Perfect. Okay, Cristian. So welcome to William the Magic Box. I've got you. Best friends, full of random fun questions. I'm just gonna play a song now, just for us to move a little bit before the first question. Ready?
Okay.
Let's do it. Okay, Cristian, let's go for the first question. Right, just before the first question, if there is a question you don't have an answer for, you don't want to answer, always can change another one, okay? It's very friendly, right? Right, first question is, tell us about your earliest memory in life.
That would probably be going to Germany. So my earliest memory was maybe around 5 or 6 years old. It was definitely a very different culture than the United States. But yeah, I think that was probably my earliest memory of my childhood.
And how long were you living there for?
We lived in Germany for 2 years before we went to Asia.
Oh, I see. Did you get to learn German?
Unfortunately, I didn't learn any languages. I'm very embarrassed to admit, because we lived overseas on military bases, and everyone around us pretty much spoke English. But as a child, you absorb language so much easier than an adult. So now as an adult, I'm almost 50 years old. I've tried to learn languages, and it's much more challenging. So I really wish I had. That was probably one of my regrets in life, is not learning languages every place we lived, because I really think that offers a lot of versatility in a person's, so.
And when you think about Germany, do you have any memory over there, like a situation or something that happened at the time?
I remember Oktoberfest. Everything was about drinking beer, and clearly I wasn't drinking beer at 5 years old. But the culture, the architecture, I love different cultures, and I love different styles of architecture. So I think that's probably what stood out the most.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good. Another question for you. Let's do it. Okay, Cristian, let's get another question for you. What hurt your feelings?
I think probably my personality. I'm a very sensitive, passionate person. I'm very empathic. So oddly enough, what hurts my feelings is when other people hurt. So if people are in despair or people have had tragedy or even just heartbreak, I can feel that. And so I think that's probably what hurts my feelings the most. Otherwise, I'm pretty resilient. I don't take things personally. So.
Oh, very good. I understand sometimes being sensitive, sometimes you can spot some people, you know what I mean, feeling sad or hurt, and you can feel somehow as well. You know what I mean? I totally know sometimes even just being around, you can get the vibe as well, just being around them. I exactly know what you mean, for sure. Next question. Let's do it. Right, before the next question, tell me, and what's the most challenging part of your job?
I would say connecting with people that don't know you. Again, you deal with a lot of money. It's usually one of the most substantial investments someone makes. So the most challenging part about my job is connecting with people for the first time that don't know you, or getting in front of people maybe that don't know you and selling, not selling yourself, but presenting yourself. I'm an introvert, but I can be very social and outgoing, but that's still probably the most challenging part for me in my career is to just go up to people and try to convince them to work with me. I'd rather someone come to me and say, I trust you and I feel good with you, I want to work with you. But obviously in any sales job, you have to be actively working at building your business and gaining more clients, so yeah.
And most of your clients, they are American or they are foreign?
So Florida's interesting. We have people from all over the world, and now with COVID, not so much, but prior to COVID, many of my clients were from the UK, various parts of Europe, Asia. Florida is on the map globally, so people know it. And I was in Orlando for many years because of Disney World. So between Disney World and South Florida, you know, pretty much anyone in the world has heard about it or knows about it. So, but I'd say it's probably 70% local US buyers, and then 30% international buyers.
There are a lot of, I don't know if, I'm sure you know that a lot of Brazilian people, they live in Orlando, in Florida, a lot, the Brazilian
community.
A lot
of South Americans. Yeah, they love Orlando. and we, you know, we don't have many high-speed trains in the US, unfortunately. It's kind of embarrassing to admit, but they're building a high-speed train from Miami to Orlando that should be finished in about 2 months. So you'll be able to be in Orlando within 2 hours from Miami. So that I think will really bridge and create a connection between the two cities.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great. Next question for you is, what would be the theme song if you had your own show?
The theme song. That's challenging. I don't know. I don't know.
Imagine yourself coming out of this starship with a lot of big audience waiting for you.
That's not my personality. I will say, and this is kind of morbid, but like, you know, you always say, oh, if I was to ever pass at my funeral, I would want this played or this said. Like there's a song by Beyonce, I Was Here. And it's about how you impacted the world and the difference that you made. And so I think that's the only thing I've ever really thought about was like, when I'm gone, what legacy will I have left and what will people have thought, you know? So.
Good one.
I know I hijacked your question, I'm sorry.
That's okay, I understand. I mean, that's the first, that's what meant, the first that came to your mind, the first news, so it's fine. I think the whole point of this question is, what's your favorite song, you know?
I have such a diverse taste in music, and now living in South Florida, I love Latin music and Bad Bunny and like all the kind of top music, but I like so much different type of music that's why it's really hard to isolate. Same thing with actresses or movies. I don't have a favorite actress or movie because I love so many things.
Yes.
You know? So it's hard to isolate one.
Next question. Let's do it. Cristian from Florida. Next question for you is, if you could be any age, what age would you choose and why?
So I am 48 right now. I would say probably 40. I feel like in your 20s, you have a lot of struggle, you're learning a lot of lessons. You think you know everything in your 20s. You really know 10% of what you think you know. And then life experience, I think, just changes you, and tragedy and happiness and success, you know, all those things really color and shape your experience. So I'd probably say the beginning of my 40s, I would probably think is the ideal place to be. I don't know, maybe my 50s will be better. Maybe I'll say 50 in 2 years. So,
as they say, life starts at 50, as they say. So,
well, what I like is every time you get a decade older, that's when life starts. So.
Very good, very good. Next question. For the next question, Cristian, and what's the most challenging part living in your city?
I think the challenging part is everyone's from somewhere else. So it's a very diverse blend of cultures. South Florida, you know, I haven't lived here very long. I was in Central Florida for a very long time. Central Florida is very organic and very about education and hospitality, and it's different. When you get to South Florida, there's so much money and it's a playground. You can have anything you want. So I really think connecting with people on a really authentic level is probably the more challenging part here. Because again, everybody's just about, especially when you get to Miami, which is further south, it's all about the surface level and the superficial. It's people don't really want a deeper connection. And I'm the opposite, being an empath. I want to deeply connect with everyone, you know? So, but I'd say that's probably the only challenge, but the geography is beautiful. The location, the ocean, the rivers, it's the yachting capital of the world. So you see $50 million mega yachts all over the place, you know? So it's like the Venice of the Americas is what they call it. So
I see. Okay, great. Next question for you is, what is something you wish you could do every single day?
Change someone's life for the better.
That's a beautiful answer. Wow, I love that. Very good. Very good.
About making an impact.
Yes, very good. I love the answer. Very good. Next question. Okay, Cristian, next question for you is, what do you like the most about yourself?
I'd say that I'm honest, I'm compassionate, and I'm caring. So those are probably the attributes that I like the most about myself. I always strive to be better. Whether it be physical fitness or whether it be career-wise, you know, I just feel like it's important to always do better. So.
And what's something that, if you could something about yourself, there is something?
Improve about myself?
Yeah, something could change about yourself.
Change about myself. I'm too trusting. But I don't want to change that. I don't want to be different, you know, but like, I'd say one of my biggest disadvantages is I'm too trusting. So.
Always being?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I see.
But again, I don't think you should change things like that. I think you should, you know, everyone goes through experiences and they shape you, they make you smarter. It's like trust but verify, but like, you shouldn't become jaded or, you know, let people that you cross paths with in the future suffer for something that maybe you experienced in the past. But yeah, I'd say being too trusting. And all of my friends would pretty much agree with that. So.
Great. Next one. 4 years ago, I've been living in England for the last 20 years, and I was working for Disney Cruise Line, for Disney World in 2016, and it was a short contract, just for 4 months, and I was based in Port Lauderdale.
Nice.
And it's funny because the weather, it felt the same where I originally come from, Brazil, Northwest. So I remember staying there, and my God, I feel like I'm exactly where I was born. Like for those 4 months, it's really, really hot. My God, couldn't believe.
Yeah, I believe it.
Right, next question is, what is your favorite place in the entire world and why?
So this is a little interesting. I have been a lot of places. I've been fortunate to experience a lot of things. I think probably one of the most beautiful places in the entire world that I've ever been is in North Carolina. It's in Asheville, and it's the Vanderbilt Biltmore estate. One of the youngest grandchildren of the Vanderbilt family, they always were trying to one-up one another with bigger homes and more money and more status. But their youngest grandchild, Cornelius Vanderbilt, built this 190,000 square foot personal residence in the mountains. And it's been since converted to a museum. And it's a blend of architecture from 3 of the biggest palaces in France, and it's just stunning. They looked at the lay of the land. They literally seeded every plant on 8,000 acres to have a texture of color and a canvas almost. So every season it's stunning, but like of all places, it's in North Carolina. So it doesn't sound very glamorous, but the Biltmore estate in Asheville is probably my favorite place in the world. So.
Oh, wow. Very good. Do you go there very often, or you've been there a few times?
I used to go pre-COVID every year, if not twice a year, especially in the holidays at Christmas time. They light up the house, and there's like 80 fireplaces and 40 Christmas trees, and the Christmas trees are real. They actually cut down 20-foot firs and then decorate them with decorations from like the 1800s. But it's just a marvel of architecture, because it was a home with electricity and 40 indoor bathrooms in the mid-1800s, where most homes in the United States were using outhouses. So just the technology in building, and they brought trades from Europe. So now if you go to Asheville, it's a small city of 200,000 people, but it has a lot of European links and roots. And so the trades were master stonemen and artists, but it's a very bohemian town in North Carolina that you'd never expect, but they do drum circles, and it's kind of like what we refer to as hippie, but it's very earthy and organic and just very authentic, so.
Oh, I like that. I never heard of it before, actually. I'm quite interested now.
I'll send you a picture of it after we get off. And
Please.
Yeah, it's stunning.
Very good. Ready for another question?
Yep.
Let's do it. By the way, I love your background. I love the words there. Grateful heart, happiness, happy.
I'm very big on affirmations. I feel like you manifest your reality. So if you are in the thought, you'll create that. So I'm very big on things like that.
Very good. Yeah. Next question for you is, who makes you laugh the most?
My puppy. I have a small dog, and his personality, I love animals, and so I can have the most challenging day and come home and be so stressed out, and he's just so happy and excited and just does some of the funniest things. So I'd have to say my puppy.
Oh, it's a boy?
A little boy named Bailey, yeah.
Is he around or not?
He is, yeah. Bailey, come here. He'll come shortly. He finally left me alone, so I was like, so I could be on this. So.
And did you buy him, or you got it as a present?
I got him from a breeder, yeah. And so I knew very specifically the breed that I wanted, because I live in high rises, so it's challenging to have a big dog that you have to walk. So I had a Maltese before, and he's a Maltese poodle. But the breed is just amazing, and he's very caring and loving and nurturing, so it was a good fit for me.
I think one of the best, for me personally, one of the best therapy, it's going to the park for a run and see those dogs around, playing around, full of energy, full of happiness. Yeah. It's impossible for you not to look and smile, because they're so full of energy, you know what I mean? They're like children, they have like the better life. They're just like playing around. They're, without any kind of worry or anything. I just love it, going to the park and see those dogs like playing around. It's
unconditional love. People are fallible and will disappoint you, but like an animal is it's pure love.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Next question, Cristian. Right, before the next question, and when you're living in Asia, when you think about what's the best memories you have from Asia, from Philippines?
So my stepmother was Thai. The reason we went to the Philippines is there's no US bases in Thailand. So we were very close. The Philippines was the next closest country. But we spent every summer in Thailand building her family a house. And we were there for 3 summers, but we also spent a summer in Singapore and Okinawa. And I think the overall best memory of experiences was just collectively being able to see so many cultures and countries. And, it's a very impoverished part of the world. And it really gives you perspective on monetary material things and what matters. And it's funny because this is not in Asia, but I've been to the Dominican Republic, and in the Dominican Republic, it's one of the poorest countries in the Caribbean, and they don't teach English, but they're the happiest culture and happiest people I've ever seen. And in the Philippines, it was very similar. You see horrible poverty, and the children are just happy, but it's relative. That's all they know. And you see the commercials where there's people with flies in their eyes, and they don't even swat them away, but it's just that's their reality. But they're still so incredibly content, and when you get into Western culture where we are in the US, and it's just like everything's about, I have to have this, or I have to make this, or I have to live here to be happy. And it's like, it's kind of unfortunate, but I think collectively that entire experience is what I value the most, not necessarily one memory.
I see it. Good. I think that's kind of experience. It's like forever. You never forget those experiences, and you feel more grateful for life. You know what I mean?
Well, and it gives you a perspective when you're here in the U.S. or when I've been in London. My godchildren are in London. You know, you hear people talk a certain way, but like you've had a completely different perspective. You know, so.
Very good. Next question for you is: who is the most influential person in your life, and why?
That would have been my grandmother. My grandmother probably was the most accepting and loving person in my life. I'm gay, and so when I came out as gay, she was one of the only people to accept me. And you know, I feel like in life you have soulmates. And I think sometimes that term is used for a lover or a partner, but I don't know necessarily that it's limited to that. I feel like there's a soul that sometimes you connect with, and maybe it is a grandparent, or maybe it is a sibling, or maybe it is a lover. But through life, there's just that bond and connection that you feel with that person. And even, you know, when she passed probably 10 years ago, she was very, very sick, but you know, it was almost 4 days before I finally could get there. And then she passed the minute I arrived. So it was like almost like she waited to say goodbye. But I would definitely say her, you know, and I still have very fond memories, and you know, but that's probably the most profound person in my life. So.
Oh wow! It just made me remember a situation, a personal situation. My grandmother, from my mom's side, she's not Brazilian, she's from Paraguay. She moved to Brazil when she was a teenager, a child. And she passed away a few years ago when I was in London at the time, and I couldn't go at the time because it was like a suddenly, but she was like unconscious for a week, more or less. And the doctor said that she couldn't move anything on her body, but she could listen to you. She could express herself, but she could listen to you. And my mom spent a few days with her before she passed. And I think 2 days before, I was calling every day. And 2 days before, when I called her, I just asked my mom to put the phone on her ears, and she did. And my mom said that the tears was come from her eyes. Like it was the only expression she had for the last week, because she couldn't move, she couldn't do anything. She was just alive, but she couldn't do any movements. And when my mom put the phone on her ears, and the tears, my mom started crying as well. It was a very powerful moment, and I was like, wow. Yeah, I'll never forget that. I was very close as well to my grandmother. I think I've learned so much, and one of the biggest lessons I learned from her, from my grandmother, was, I never forget that, I was like 7 years old, more or less. She said to me, William, when you every day when you wake up, just be grateful, just have a moment of yourself, be grateful, and believe me, nothing gonna happen to you. And since that date, I remember that day, and I'm gonna die like forever doing the same ritual every morning. As soon as I wake up, I just have this moment to myself, and I just be grateful for everything I have. And just because of her, she taught me that as a child, and I'll do that forever.
That's a profound lesson, because I feel like when you come from an angle of gratitude, you're manifesting into the universe that you are grateful for everything that you already have. Whereas when people come from an angle of lack, they're always chasing something. And so you'll have more fulfillment in your life just by waking up and doing that for 5 minutes. So that's probably one of the most profound lessons she could have ever given you. But I'm sorry she passed, and I'm glad you got to connect at least for even just a moment. So that's awesome.
Absolutely. Good memories, always leave good memories in our lives, and good lessons as well, for sure.
Hold on 1 second, because I'm going to get Bailey. He's right here.
Okay, sure.
So here's Bailey.
Oh my God, that's sweet.
Isn't he adorable?
He's for sure. So what's his name again?
Oh, Bailey.
Hello, Bailey. Bailey, how old is he now?
About 6 years old.
Oh my God.
Cute. Just had to end on a happy note after that.
Very good, very good. Next question. Next question for you, Cristian. Maybe this one's gonna be easy for you. What is your big idol, and what have you learned with this person?
Oof, that's heavy. I don't really feel, I'm not someone who idolizes. I more admire. Same thing. I feel like I admire anybody who makes a profound difference. And I just think there's so many people, that do so much amazing stuff. that a lot of times we get bogged down on the people that maybe do bad. But like, there's just people that make such a difference, you know? I mean, whether it be Princess Diana or whoever, but they've just touched so many people. And, you know, I'll use her as an example just because I said that, but like, I remember her funeral, like I just cried, you know? And it's like, I've never met this person. I don't know them. They've never done anything for me personally, but like, so I think people in life that really inspire and motivate and make change, you know, and sometimes they have the most tragic experience, but I don't really think there's anyone that I idolize, but it's people on that level that really touch and make a difference and really make profound change. You know, I think the world's really challenging right now, not even just with COVID, but like it's just really challenging and there's a lot of negative, you know, so anybody that can really sacrifice their own experience to make substantial change, I really look up to that, so.
Yeah, you mentioned about Princess Diana. I quite like her. I quite like her as well. I think, as you said, those people that leave their signature in the world. You know, they're always gonna remember them. They're always gonna be in their minds. Whatever.
Yeah.
Next question, Cristian. Let's do it. Now he's there now, trying to get interview again. Yeah.
Yes.
Great.
I should have let him keep sleeping, but
It's okay. Makes cute. Okay, what is the most memorable lesson you learned from your parents?
Oof. This one's a little deep. So as I mentioned to you, I came out as gay at 21. In the U.S., it was not as acceptable then, and my father was in the military most of his life, so I did not have a relationship with my parents. They divorced when I was very young, so I guess several lessons. I'm very relationship oriented. I love love, but like I want a long-term relationship versus several disposable relationships, and so I take monogamy and commitment very seriously. But on the flip side, also, I've always wanted children, but like it just wasn't in the cards for me, unfortunately. But I feel like unconditional love was probably the most valuable lesson I learned when someone doesn't show you that. And so from their rejection of me because of who I was living authentically, I guess I learned a really valuable lesson, and it shaped me as an adult. Like it shaped me in my friendships, my relationships, everything. So, but yeah, those are probably two of the most valuable lessons that I learned from my parents. So.
It's okay to talk about being gay at the time. It's okay for you to talk about?
Oh yeah, I'm completely good in my skin.
Okay, so when you came out, like, what was the? Tell me about the day when you thought about, okay, that's the day when I'm gonna come out. There was a reason, something happened, or you just felt genuine, like, okay, I need to be myself. I need to share with my family, my parents. There was a reason, or they kind of figure out by themselves. If you can share.
It honestly wasn't at a moment. It was a transitional period. But like I grew up overseas. My father was in the military. It's a very masculine, macho environment. Being anything other than that was not acceptable. My family was from a very rural part of Western New York where everyone was the same. Everyone was very white, Anglo-Saxon Protestant. And so there wasn't a lot of diversity. And I crave anything different. I don't want to be the same. Like if you look at my friend circle, they're so diverse and different types of people from all over the place that look so different. But in that moment, like I came down for my brother's wedding and I looked around, and for the first time, I guess I had what they call gaydar. I could sense other people were gay as well, and they could sense that I was. And also I really struggled with my identity. You know, being gay isn't, people look at the stereotype of flamboyant and they think, oh, he must be gay. Your mannerisms have nothing to do with your sexuality, and that's a stereotype. And so being a more masculine gay guy, it really kept me in the closet a lot longer because I didn't identify or see role models or some positive influences that were like me. You know, when I came out at 21, that's 27 years ago, there were no gay characters on television. There were no gay athletes. There were no gay celebrities. You know, the only thing you saw that was shown to you as gay was turning on a trashy talk show on television, and it's the extremes. And it's more for ratings. It's actually not for an authentic presentation of who we were as LGBT people. So I think at the end of the day, I moved very quickly. That was really the main reason. I was so pent up and tired of not living my authentic self. So I moved here, came out, thought nobody will ever know. I can live here in Florida. It'll be completely secret. Well, as life happens, it's never that way. It got back to my family, and then it got back to my father. So it was more of like a coming out, becoming good in my skin. And I'm thankful that that was the case, because it was about 2 months later that my family found out. So I was strong in who I was 2 months later, whereas I probably would not have been as strong in who I was at that moment. But no, it was a period. And I don't regret anything. Everything in our lives shapes us and molds us. And, my first partner, we were together for 6.5 years. His family became my family. His parents were Italian, and they showed me true love. They showed me unconditional love. So that was my journey. That's what I was meant to experience. And so, yeah, it wasn't a solitary moment where I had just had enough. It was more of a period. And I'm thankful for how it happened. I did not have a relationship with my mother up until about a month ago. She finally just passed. She was really, really sick for many, many years. And I got to go be with her for the final week of her life. And she was in hospice, and it was powerful. I've never experienced anything like that, but I got to have my closure with her and be there when she took her final breath. And, it was powerful, but it brought up a lot of stuff that I hadn't worked through. And so that then gave me the opportunity to kind of open that door and start working through that as well. So, yeah.
Oh, thanks for sharing that, Cristian. Thanks for sharing this personal event. Yes, as you say, I totally believe. I think being gay, I think all of us, we have our story, how we came out, how the society, how our family face it. And it's funny, it's interesting as well, because usually in our house, it always happens with the neighbor. It never happened to our family. It always happens, the neighbor is this or the neighbor is that. But with us, in our family, never happened. But what I believe as well, sometimes our parents, they know very well their child. Sometimes they don't want to see it, so they don't want to even believe it, or they don't want to see it because of the society, the way things are. As you said before about, the way that sometimes the society, TV at the time showing off about the character being gay, what was shown, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think all of us, we have our moments in life, and as you said, I think everything counts and everything shapes us the way we are, and we should be grateful, for whatever happens to build us and make us stronger as well. And actually, I think next life, if I can choose, I could like to be gay again.
I 100% would be. I'd like to take a little of my knowledge with me.
Yes.
But it's interesting being. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, I'm 39. Sorry,
Okay.
39 in 2 months time. So yeah, 38.
You do like me. My birthday's in 2 weeks, and I've already saying 48. I start to average up. No, it's interesting, and I talk to younger LGBT people here that are in their early 20s, and their normal is so different than my normal or your normal.
Yeah.
When we came out or when we came to terms. But I'm like, they'll have such a more organic experience because it's been normalized so much and accepted so much, and it's not tolerating, it's embracing and accepting. Like tolerating, I hate the word tolerance, because it's like you tolerate me. Like, no, you're not going to tolerate me, you're going to embrace me.
Yeah.
But it's just profound. I've never in my lifetime, if you had talked to me at 21, would I ever think that we would have the evolution of thought and acceptance and embracing our community. South Florida is one of the biggest gay communities in the world. There's a lot that comes with that.
Yes.
In Port Lauderdale, we have Will Manors. Like, it's 200,000 gay people, and it's like everything is gay. The barber, the coffee shop, the nightclub. It's like, it's overwhelming. But it's incredible to see how the world has evolved. And it's funny because my friends and family in the UK, they've often looked at us like, what is wrong with you guys? Like, why is America so backwards? But it's a lot of religion, and I think religion is slowly calming down and embracing things a little bit more, and they're realizing it's not what they thought it was. We all created exactly the way we were, and if that was wrong, it wouldn't have been done.
Absolutely. Yes, it's interesting saying that, because it's true. When I see as well very young gay guys around to express themselves and very ahead at the time when I was their age, I was like, oh my God. Sometimes I look at them and say, my God, you are so brave, or you live a different world right now, because at the time it was a different world, you know what I mean? I think the world is going, there's a lot still to catch up, but I think the world is going in a good direction regarding that, for sure.
No, I agree.
Next question for you, Cristian. Let's do it. Right, next question for you is, what's the worst advice have you ever given? Oops.
Worst advice I've ever given. I would say probably the only time I regretted giving advice was when it was regarding other people's relationships and infidelity, because sometimes that gets a little messy.
Yeah.
It's really not your place to get involved. But for me, I always said, well, if somebody knew something, I would want to know. So I was just jesting with somebody the other day about this, that I'm like, I've learned now just not to get involved because you always end up being the bad guy when you're just trying to help someone you care about. But I would probably say my advice would revolve around that of just, you know, I'm very big on honesty and transparency and treating people with integrity. And so not everyone has those same values. So, but yeah, that would probably be the worst advice I've ever given, only because it wasn't received well. So
at least it came from a good place, at least, yeah, for sure. Next question.
Yep.
Let's do it. I thought he was gone. He's still there.
No, he's a lap dog. He doesn't go anywhere. I just put him.
Right. If you are not yourself, would you like to be yourself?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I think I do the best to be the best version of myself at all times. And so it's really the only perspective I have. But I'm not somebody, I feel like if you're always looking or dreaming of being something else or something different, you don't really embrace yourself. And so as much as my life has not always been easy and it's not been a smooth straight line journey, I only have my perspective. So I guess that's the only way I would know how to answer that, because there's nobody else I would really rather be. So, and I 100%, as we alluded earlier, I would always choose to be gay. Like I am 100% good in my skin and who I am, and know the contribution I make to society. So,
very good. Next question for you, Cristian. Right, next question for you is, what made you laugh this week or this month? Something that sticks to your head.
So I'm in a seminar right now for my industry, and they're talking about how to improve your skills and be better. And it's funny because two of the points were laugh every day, find something that makes you laugh. And so I typically, as I won't say dumb, I mean, TikTok is very mainstream. As juvenile as TikTok can be, or started out to be, which it's no longer juvenile. A lot of times I'll just get on TikTok and just find something to laugh at, because I think it's very therapeutic and it's the best medicine. You know, so that I would say just finding something, or him. I'll come in and he's on his back and he's doing backflips and running figure eights, and it just makes me laugh. You know, so.
Very good, very good. 3 questions left for you, okay? Let's do it. Okay, Cristian, next question for you is, where is the most exotic place have you ever been?
Phuket, Thailand, probably.
Tell me about it.
So the summers we would go to Thailand, we kind of explored the country, and my mother's family lived just outside of Bangkok in a very poor province. But we went to Chiang Mai, Phuket, all the major cities, but this is Phuket pre-tsunami. You know, I don't know how it is now, or if it's been decimated or if it's been rebuilt. But I would say probably Phuket. The beaches were just stunning. The people are amazing. The culture, Thai culture is one of the most amazing that I've ever experienced. The people, I love the religious garb. I had the amazing opportunity, my stepmother's sister, as women, you can't be monks, obviously, but you can serve the monks. And so they go and they wash their feet and they feed them. And as a Westerner, it was incredibly unusual to go into a temple. But I had the luxury of, I had to shave my head, I was 14, and I had the opportunity to go in and wash the monks' feet with my stepmother's sister. And it was just such a profound experience to even go somewhere where a Westerner would never be able to go. But the temples are just, the Buddhas are gold, and it's just, their garb is spectacular. And, you know, so it's just, that was probably one of the most amazing places I've ever been. So.
Good, very good. 2 questions left. Let's do it, Cristian. Right, next question is, what is your spirit animal?
would say dog, but that's so basic. Spirit animal. It's kind of interesting because every school I've ever attended, an eagle has a lot of grandeur and strength and not aloofness, but like it's just kind of like an animal that's held in high regard. But every college, every high school, every private school I've gone to, the mascot was an eagle. And so I don't know if that would be my spirit animal, but I mean, I love animals in general, any kind of animal. I'm very, very empathic and connect with animals. But I always joke I like animals better than people, you know, because they're just so authentic, you know.
Yep. Yeah.
So dog or eagle, I guess.
1 week eagle, 1 week dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go for the last one.
Okay.
Before the last question, when you look back from last year, since the world went upside down with the COVID, what's the most positive thing you took out of this challenge journey?
You know, the interesting thing is I think we spend so much time going to the gym, going to a meeting, going to work, going to dinner, but like we don't live in the moment. And so I think with COVID, in South Florida, they shut down for nearly 4 to 5 months, no restaurants, no gyms, nothing. So if you were exercising, you were forced to just go outside and exercise outside with no equipment or no phone, you know? And so I think, and Central Florida was the same thing. We shut down for about 2 months, but that was probably one of the most profound resets of like, we go indoors to exercise. We go, because we're so compressed for time and such a rush and such a hurry. But I think that really kind of gave me perspective to where like, I started walking Bailey every single day for like an hour. And it made me kind of refocus on really kind of centering and having more balance. Because when you're just in a rush all the time and you're always connected to your device and you never kind of unplug, you know, I feel like it really changes your quality of life, definitely. I've lost a lot of friends to COVID, and it's had a really profound impact in Florida. And our local government here just puts their head in the sand and says everything's great, but it's you know, but on the plus side, it's just been that reconnect with nature and more balance. So.
Oh, very good. Last question for you now.
Sure.
What do you think people need to know about each other before they start a relationship?
Oof. Core values, honestly. I think in relationships, the natural progression of the cycle is to always sell yourself and put your best version of yourself forward. I don't think that's the right way to do it. I actually think you should just be your real authentic self and let someone decide whether that aligns with who they see themselves with long term. It's not always taking the good with somebody, it's being able to manage the bad habits and the bad qualities. And we all have them. None of us are perfect, you know? So I think if I had to say anything, it would just be to really take the time to get to know somebody and really see them because the first 90 days you're in the honeymoon period and you're selling yourself. And that's just human nature. You always want someone to see the best version of you. But then after about 90 days, I reference everything in 30-day increments because of real estate, I'm sorry. After the first 3 to 6 months, you get past that initial honeymoon phase and it's a little more real and you fall into it. You know, I think the other challenge is long distance relationships. I don't think they're real because you're always in the honeymoon phase. You're perpetuating that cycle over and over because you miss each other for so long. Then you have the honeymoon for a week or 2 weeks or a month. And then you go back to missing each other. So it really doesn't give you the chance to know someone organically. But just, you know, I have had several failed relationships, but looking backwards, it's really looking at the role you played in it, what you could have done better, what you need to avoid in the future as far as signs or things that maybe don't align with your core values. But that is the main thing, is just, and again, values might be over here, they might be over here, and there's somebody out there for everybody. You know, but I think that, and communication and honesty are probably the other two challenges. So.
I love the way you were explaining about the honeymoon periods. And I love it.
Everything's a timeline.
I love it. Amazing. I never thought this way, actually. I mean, I know that I agree with you. I think the beginning is all flowers, skies, stars, you know what I mean? It's normal. I think everyone goes through that. And after when you start to get, you know what I mean? The longer it goes, the challenge gets, you know what I mean, more challenge. And it's all part. But I think at the end of the day, it's a good challenge to take it. You know what I mean? If you love the person, if you feel, you know what I mean, if the right person, is always a challenge, but it's a good direction to go.
Yeah, and it's complicated because I mean, especially with men, you know, female or male relationships, you have other things that enter into it between machismo and the alpha and who's in charge, and you know, so it's not you got your power struggle phase of a relationship where you figure out really kind of who's more dominant and who's more submissive or passive. You know, so there's key and conflict resolution is the biggest thing. Most people don't even have basic conflict resolution skills. So then when things get tough, it implodes. But like if you can learn that in the beginning, I don't know, have you ever read 5 Love Languages?
No.
Google 5 love languages and take the test. It is a brilliant tool that I wish I had when I was 21. And there's 5 distinct love languages that we utilize subconsciously. We receive love and we give love differently. And so if you're with somebody who has a completely different love language, you already have a challenge from the beginning. And if you're not aware of it, you're even at a bigger disadvantage. So I dated someone, for example, for one time, and one of the love languages is gifts. I do not care about material things. I do not want a gift. Do not buy me anything. Do not leave me a Post-it note. That's the most valuable thing I ever want from you. You know, but don't buy me a piece of jewelry or something like that. Yeah. So the love languages are quality time, physical touch, words of affirmation, acts of service, like doing the dishes, taking the trash out, and then gifts. And so those are 5 basic principles, and it's a psychologist that came up with this concept. And so if someone's always showing you love in a way that means nothing to you, they're speaking a different language. And so then at some point, 6 months or a year down the road, you just don't feel loved, appreciated, or valued. You know, and so I wish I had found or come across that in my early 20s. I think it would have saved me or aligned me with someone probably better at that time. But I was so busy just, oh, you're attractive. Oh, you want to be with me. You know, and it's like, there wasn't a lot of criteria, you know.
I see.
You know, so,
but maybe you're saying that maybe if you'd come when you were 21, maybe you wouldn't get the message. Maybe, you know what I mean? Sometimes you're not ready for the when it comes. It just always come the right time, the things.
Sure. Honestly, when I said I wouldn't want to be in my 20s again, a lot of what you're learning through your 20s is how much you do subconsciously because of childhood trauma or dysfunction or bad habits that you were taught from your parents' dynamic. You know, and so you're just acting that out on repeat, on a loop, and you don't even realize it. You know, and so it wastes a lot of time. And I really admire the people that meet at 22 and they're together for 15 years or a lifetime. That's all I've ever wanted, but I wasn't self-aware enough to realize the role I was playing in failed relationships. You know, so it's all self-awareness and then just constantly working on being better. You know, if you don't heal a wound, it just stays there, you know, and gets worse. You know?
I see. But I think, as you said, I think in the past, you know what I mean, I don't think it was a waste. I think it was just a learning process that you needed to go through that to be better in the next relationship. Makes sense. Yeah. Right, not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some words and just then one word that comes to your mind. I'm sure you're going to be easy. You are very easy. Okay. Let's start with family. One word.
So family?
Yeah.
Friends.
Money?
Abundance.
Love.
Deep.
Life.
Love.
Sex.
Superficial.
Politics.
Avoid. No. Politics, divisive, especially in our nation.
Religion.
Hypocrisy.
Okay. Fear.
Growth.
Friendship.
Love.
Desire.
Passion.
Regrets.
Growth.
Success.
Relative.
Wish.
Dream.
Happiness.
Fulfillment.
One word for Florida.
Hot.
I knew it.
We only have 2 seasons, hot and wet and hot and dry.
Right. And the last one now, USA. One word.
Evolving.
Okay, Christian, let's pretend now I'm going to meet your best friend for a coffee, and I'm going to ask your best friends, what is the most beautiful thing about Christian, and what's something that he still needs to improve on? What do you think your best friend will tell me?
Probably kind and generous, and needs to pick better men. No, it goes back to the trusting component. Needs to be more discerning, probably, is what they would say is what I need to work on.
So. Cool. Let's play now, Christian in the Magic Box, and you can ask me a question, okay? But okay. Before that, let's play the music one more time. Okay, Christian, you can ask me a question now.
What made you leave Brazil?
Do you have another 3 hours to go? Right, just joking. No, I think, right, one of the, I always have this personality or this drive of, be a better person, get things in life. Like, I remember being a child. I remember on my school holidays, I literally was like 6-7 years old. I literally was asking my dad if I could work during this period. And he was like, no, of course not. You just finish you need to rest now. You need to enjoy like Christmas time now. You need to enjoy this time. And I just wanted to work. I always had this personality of, get a better life, to help my family, to enjoy, myself, to always, to get things that I never had in the past when as a child. So I always had this drive when I look back. So I think, and when I started studying English when I was 12 years old, I just felt in love with the language, and I just wanted to live abroad. I just want to improve my English. And I remember at the time when I was 19, when I left Brazil, when I was 19 years old, I remember knocking those travel agencies. The only way you could travel at that time, 20 years ago, is about through travel agents, like travel agents at the time. And I remember knocking their doors, and they were like, okay, let's start the process. Your parents can afford for this? No. Your parents can afford for the ticket? No. Your parents. So, but even though I was trying, always tried, because I want to live in a country where the first language was English. I always had this passion, always had this way of thinking. Anyway, long story short, I had the opportunity to go to Portugal when I was 19, and I just took it. I just got the whole opportunity, and I lived there for 5 years, and I've been living in England now for the last 16 years now, almost 17 years now. And yes, but the main reason was the language. I always wanted to improve my English. The second part as well, just to get a better life, to be a better person, to help my family back in Brazil. So I always had that as an early child. I remember my parents saying to me, like my mom, when I was 18, 17, she was like, this boy is gonna be difficult to hold him, because he's gonna go, it's never gonna be around us, because I always had this personality of trying a new life and be a better person. That's right. My genuine answer to you. Yeah.
Wow, good for you.
Yes, and when I look back, it's funny how life sometimes takes to the direction that you're not expecting. London was in my plans, even Portugal. I always want to go to America, USA, America dream. Always had Brazilian. We had always this thing about living in USA. So yeah, and I had the opportunity to come to Portugal, and I didn't think twice, just took the opportunity straight away. And I said, yes, there we go. I'm gonna go to Portugal and see how it goes. That's so awesome. Yeah, that's my answer to you.
Well, now you have someone in the USA that you can visit.
There you go. I'm thinking when I come to Florida next time, I know where to go now, where to come for a...
It's a little better than Cape Canaveral, no offense.
Very good. Thanks so much. Thanks for taking the time and to do the interview with me. But before you go, Chris, if you don't mind to share a positive message, a positive quote, something that inspires your life.
I think at the end of the day, touch someone, make a difference, have an impact. Those are probably, I think, the most important things to live by every day. And as you said, wake up every day with gratitude for the day you had prior.
Yeah, absolutely. And just adding to that as well, I saw the other day on a message saying, smile in the mirror every day and you're gonna see a difference in your life. And it makes so, I know it sounds cliche, but it's so true. You know what I mean? It's so true. When you smile to yourself, it gives a different vibe for sure for your day.
It's very true.
Christian, thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Thanks so much. My God, the time just flew like that. My God, I could be here another hour with you, easily talking to you.
Thank you very much.
Keep in touch. All the best for you, okay? Take care. Bye-bye. Bye, Bailey. 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 Bye, Bailey.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Take care. Bye-bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.